He was a devout Jewish rabbi, respected, educated, unwavering in his faith, until the moment his heart stopped beating. For 4 long minutes, Rabbi David Cohen was clinically dead. But what he saw, what he experienced, shattered everything he thought he knew about God, the Messiah, and life itself. This isn't a dream. It wasn't a hallucination. It was a divine confrontation with the truth he spent his life denying. And the man who met him in that realm of light was Jesus. The story you're about to hear is not fiction. It's the real account of a rabbi who crossed into eternity and came back with a message that will shake the foundation of your faith. A life rooted in faith. For more than 20 years, Rabbi David Cohen had faithfully served his congregation in the heart of Brooklyn, New York. A man of unwavering commitment, he devoted himself to the study of Torah, halakha, and the sacred traditions passed down through generations. His identity was inseparable from the ancient texts he taught and the rituals he performed. To Rabbi Cohen, Judaism was not merely a religion. It was a covenant, a sacred inheritance, a guiding light. Each morning, the synagogue's stone steps echoed with the footsteps of those seeking wisdom and solace. Rabbi Cohen was their spiritual anchor, a voice of reason, a defender of tradition, a beacon of faith in a rapidly changing world. Yet beneath this surface of certitude, questions lingered, questions he rarely voiced, questions about God's nature, the meaning of suffering, and the promise of redemption. For all his learning and devotion, Rabbi Cohen remained a man wrestling with the mysteries of existence, until one early morning in March 2024, when everything he thought he knew would be irrevocably changed. The day that changed everything. It was a cold, gray dawn on March 12, 2024. Rabbi Cohen was on his usual route to the synagogue for Shaharit prayers. The streets of Brooklyn were just beginning to stir. The air was thick with quiet expectation. Suddenly, without warning, an unbearable pressure gripped his chest. It was as if an invisible hand had squeezed his lungs tightly, making it impossible to breathe. Time slowed. His steps faltered. He reached out instinctively, but his body betrayed him. His knees buckled and he collapsed onto the cold pavement just outside the synagogue doors. Moments later, paramedics arrived. Among them was his longtime friend, Dr. Miriam Gold, a cardiologist who had often spoken of faith's mysteries and the human heart's fragility. With expert hands and calm determination, she worked to stabilize him. His heart had stopped. For nearly 4 minutes, Rabbi Cohen lay unconscious, hovering on the edge between life and death. The sudden collapse. A heart standstill. 4 minutes. An eternity suspended between breaths. For Rabbi Cohen, this moment was unlike any other. Neither dark nor frightening. It was a passage into a realm beyond the physical. The monitors beeped and machines hummed, but the consciousness of David Cohen transcended the sterile hospital room. He was no longer bound by time or space. His awareness expanded, and with it came a profound stillness. There was no pain, no fear, only light. Pure, radiant, infinite light. It was unlike any earthly illumination. It was not a place, but a presence, an overwhelming essence of peace and understanding that enveloped him completely. Crossing the threshold, entering the realm of light. As Rabbi Cohen's earthly vision faded, another vision unfolded. A realm of boundless light without walls or sky. He was himself, yet more, an awareness heightened beyond all earthly senses. Memories of his life flashed before him, but not like mere snapshots. Each moment was vivid and alive. Every joy, every regret, every doubt laid bare. Then from within the light, a figure began to take shape. A man stood before him, radiating a calm power, a peace so deep it silenced every question. This was no ordinary apparition. The presence of peace, the man in the light. The figure was Jewish in appearance, olive-toned skin, deep-set eyes filled with sorrow and love, a beard reminiscent of ancient prophets. Yet this was a presence unlike any Rabbi Cohen had ever encountered. There was no judgment in this gaze, only profound compassion. The man spoke, not with words, but with a clarity that echoed inside Rabbi Cohen's very soul. "Michael," he said, using the name Rabbi Cohen had not heard in years, You know who I am. Rabbi Cohen's heart stirred. He wanted to deny, to hold fast to his faith's traditions, to reject this figure that challenged everything he had taught and believed. But deep within, he knew the truth. Recognition beyond reason. Jesus, the Messiah. This was Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth, the Messiah, not as the churches had painted him, but as the fulfillment of prophecy and divine promise. For Rabbi Cohen, a man who had spent decades arguing against the divinity of Jesus, this moment shattered all intellectual defenses. There was no argument here, only undeniable truth. Yeshua's eyes held centuries of sorrow for a people yet to fully embrace him, but also an infinite love for all. The scrolls of life, confronting a lifetime of choices. Without speaking, Yeshua showed Rabbi Cohen the scrolls of his life, memories replayed with perfect clarity. He saw himself as a child, questioning why God allowed suffering. He saw his years as a rabbi, devoted to ritual and law, but blind to the needs of the poor and the outcast. He saw moments of pride, moments of doubt, moments of silent contempt for those who believed differently. And throughout it all, he saw Yeshua, quietly reaching out in love, offering grace. The prophecies revealed, Isaiah, Zechariah, and the suffering servant. Yeshua revealed the ancient prophecies anew, the pierced one of Zechariah 12, the suffering servant of Isaiah 53, not a metaphor for Israel, but a person who bore suffering for others. For Rabbi Cohen, these passages, once subjects of theological debate, now burned with undeniable clarity. The Messiah was more than a symbol. He was the living fulfillment of ancient promises. A question of loyalty, the struggle within. Michael, Yeshua said, "What about your people? What about the Jews?" Rabbi Cohen's heart ached. The weight of centuries of history, persecution, and tradition pressed on him. Could he betray everything he had stood for? Yeshua's eyes blazed with both fire and compassion. "I came first for them," he said, "and I am coming again." The choice was not betrayal, it was fulfillment. The invitation, choosing grace over tradition. "Will you follow me?" the Messiah asked, not as a command, but an invitation. Rabbi Cohen thought of his family, his congregation, the legacy of his ancestors. But in that realm of light, the burden of rules and expectations fell away. He said yes, not with words, but with surrender, a surrender that flooded his soul with love and peace beyond comprehension. Awakening, returning to a changed world. Rabbi Cohen awoke in the ICU, tubes and monitors surrounding him. The sterile hospital lights felt harsh after the radiant light he had just left. Dr. Miriam Gold's voice pierced through the haze. "You're back," she said. "You were gone for almost 4 minutes." Doctors called it a miracle. Rabbi Cohen knew it was a revelation. A new mission, sharing the truth with courage. In the days and weeks that followed, Rabbi Cohen grappled with how to reconcile his experience with his life's work. He did not abandon Judaism. He fulfilled it. Now he taught Torah and the prophets with new eyes. He spoke openly of the Messiah Yeshua, joining dialogue between Jewish and Christian scholars. His message was clear. Faith is not a fortress to defend, but a journey toward truth and grace. Rabbi David Cohen's near-death encounter was not just a story of life and death. It was a testimony to the power of grace, the reality of divine love, and the invitation for all to meet truth beyond tradition.